there's deeper roots involved with people than
Yeah.
just drinking or getting high. So in order to fix them, we're trying to put a band-aid on on a cut that needs a tourniquet. We can't keep throwing money at it and thinking it's gonna solve everything, because it doesn't. They're still people, and they still need love, and they still need attention, and we need to listen to them.
All right, welcome everyone. Today I have with me a very special guest. Today I have with me Craig. We met yesterday at McDonald's over some coffee, and we had a really great conversation, and I just wanted to record some more of it, and hopefully there's some wisdom that we can impart and you can take from and gain some insight into. So without further ado, welcome Craig. Pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
So what is your story?
My story. I don't even know what that really means, except for the fact that through a process of life lessons and everything else, that I'm now being out in this environment and wanting to make a difference, to share with people, first and foremost, the truth of the gospel, which is important to me, and then also give to the community in which I'm in. And so right now that's here in Newport, and so that's where I'm at. As far as how I got here, I mean, we won't go into a really long spiel about it, but what we'll say is that I grew up in Washington State, so I'm a local of the Northwest, and I, was married for quite a while, and I gave the time to raising family and doing all that. Once I got to a place where that was done, I could live the kind of life that I felt like I was supposed to be, and that is, reaching out and touching people's lives and trying to make a difference one person at a time. The cause of even where they're at, whether it's, living outside, or, without a job, or all these things, that they're still people, and they still need love, and they still need attention, and we need to listen to them, and, let them speak from their heart, and, just do what we can. Be a light, and be, the love of God towards them. So
One of the reasons why we hit it off so well is we share the same outlook in life, trying to see people for who they are, not what they appear to be, giving them the time of day, lending an ear, empowering them, giving where we can.
Yeah, I think through our conversation yesterday, the encouragement of it was that, hello. We were trying, we have a lot of similarities in that we want to, bring hope, and
Inspire.
encourage and inspire people. Exactly. And that's what people need out here, more than, I mean, there's a lack of resources as far as food and all these things. I mean, there's people that are doing that, and that's a blessing, but then there's more to living than just giving someone a fish.
Yeah, teaching them how to fish.
Right. There's people out here that really would like to be back and have, in a home and have a job and some things, but they're at a point now where they don't even know how to get to that place. And I think the resources that are available are disconnected from that. You have people that are, paid to oversee these projects, and they've never been there. They've never slept outside. They haven't slept, I'm not saying they haven't camped. It's not the same, but they haven't, they're not sleeping in their cars. They don't understand the full dynamics of what people are really going through. And I think there needs to be more advocates for people before they fall into the ditch and be totally removed from what society would look at and say, we want to really help these people. I mean, there's groups of people that are part of the drug and alcohol advocacy, that are helping people get recovered, but there's deeper roots involved with people than just drinking or getting high. So I'd like for people to give into a program where there's a deeper commitment for even mental health There's a deeper commitment to, strategy and helping teach people to, apply the gifts and talents that they have so they can find and realize that there's better opportunities for them than sleeping, in a tent out in the woods or, in the cities or the highways and byways. And for me to reach people like that, I've kind of like done that myself. So
Yeah, which is pretty much why I wanted to talk to you too, because you have so much insight and information and wisdom that we all could learn from. What do you think people who are, I don't want to say homeless, but for lack of better words, where do you think the problem arises or stems from, or what do you think's the missing piece?
I mean, there's lots of consequences to people's choices. So, you know, um, and I don't want to just say, oh, it's all on the government and the collapse of our system and but a lot of the even social programs that we still have are broken, and in order to fix them, we're trying to put a Band-Aid on on a cut that needs a tourniquet.
Yeah.
So we continue to try to at least somewhat fix people a little at a time by medicating them or doing all these different things when that's really not the major issue.
Or segregating them and putting them in the corner and forgetting about them and forgetting that they're even humans and that they exist in the first place.
Exactly. And so I would say that the things that we're not taking into consideration are the deeper issues, So we label things as like a mental health or issue, or it's a drug problem, or it's this or that, and we put everything in a box. But really, it needs to be no barriers. The net needs to be wide.
Yeah.
We need to listen more than speak, and I think that then we can start to like attack the root of a lot of the issues by doing that. And I think there needs to be more people that are involved with that. We can't keep throwing money at it and thinking it's going to solve everything, because it doesn't. So now we're just saying, okay, like if one person can affect a change in another person, or be,
like least, this.
Yeah, then that can grow from that, because then it's multiplying. So now you're taking it out and I'm taking it out, and now it's going forth. And so that continues to be something that I would like to see more and more people get involved with locally.
Where do you think the root of the problem stems from, and how can we uproot that and create new growth for the individual and for society as a whole moving forward for better tomorrows and futures for us all?
I think it stems from teaching our children even to get to a place where they're no longer is it acceptable to think that the wrong thing that's done is okay to do and all that. I believe in the structure of the family environment, and like once you train a child in the right way, then usually they can go out and share that and move forward, and that helps other people. I'm not gonna sit here and bash certain things or whatever that we have, but I'm gonna say that those, we need an overhaul. Really, we need some kind of a revival of American values and core issues, and
helping one another, extending the olive branch.
Amen.
Yeah.
Like that. So instead of it always being about the left or the right or the government, and the pendulum swings and all that, it's going to be more about each of us just doing a piece of it, so we can all be a part of that. It doesn't have to be, paying someone else to do it. We can just be kind to our neighbor, or compassionate towards the elderly person that needs their groceries put in the back of their car, or, those, I'm just giving examples. Saying please and thank you would be nice.
Yeah.
We don't have those kind of values anymore, and we got disconnected even further during COVID, and it saddens me to see so many people struggling to kind of get to a place where they start respecting and honoring people again. we don't have to talk bad about everybody all the time. We start to get back to some of those values that were, so from some of the previous generations, and we start to share and move that forward again, and we can make this a better place for us to live and connect, and have that environment that's created from those positive things that we're doing. If I was to pick one thing that I would say that I've noticed that has caused a lot of this issue, it's accountability.
Yeah.
And, people lacking accountability and taking accountability for their decisions and their choices. And I'd like to see people stop blaming everything on everybody else and start to say, you know what, I play a role in this. I did that myself.
And earlier we talked about choice and change, and I think one thing that we all have is that we have the choice to make good decisions and bad decisions,
Right.
and also to help one another and uplift and empower everyone to all so that way so that way we can all flourish. Rising tides lift all boats, and really, in the end of the day, we're only as strong as we are, and as the collective, right? As everyone included, and
Right.
we can't forget about our fellow man, their struggles. Everyone has it, but I think what we really need is brotherhood or relationships and support and empowerment to really see it through, and to really make that better choice for change for the future and the future
Right. Future generations.
future generations. Yeah. I really should have wrote down some questions, but I think winging it's probably better.
Oh no, I like it.
Given your current situation, what are some of the struggles that you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis that some people wouldn't have insight into or not see just because they're not living it? Like,
First off, it starts kind of just from the human nature to like judge someone by what you see. And there's a saying that says, don't judge a book by its cover. Read the entire book, all the pages, to find out what a person's really going through and struggles and all that. There's also issues with, living day to day. There's kind of a mentality that you can kind of take that's a survival mode kind of a situation. So you're spending so much time trying to find the basic needs and things that actually we should be giving. I mean, I don't believe that food and shelter and all these things are a privilege. It's a human right to have them,
Yeah.
So there's a lack of resources, food, clothing, all these things. There's people that are doing that, and I'm thankful for all that stuff. But I would say, in the attempt to kind of sweep homelessness or the idea of it under the rug, you're taking away bathrooms. You're taking away places to throw garbage away. You're taking away all these things to try to drive people away, but all it's doing is creating a larger mess. And so it's putting more and more strain on the local city and county and state governments to like be responsible to pick up all that stuff after people. And then that creates more and more of a disillusionment that all homeless people are dirty and irresponsible and don't want to deal with having responsibility and all these different things that sometimes all that stuff just happens out of circumstances. So if there's a lack of all of it, the circumstances that are going to come from that are going to be, there's going to be messes. I'd like to see more resources go to just basic needs. And I'm not saying to enable homelessness, but I'm saying that the truth is it's there and we need to
address it.
Start addressing it.
I agree wholeheartedly, which is really why I wanted to talk to you today, just to get more insight.
Okay.
And to dig a little deeper, why is it that you choose this sort of lifestyle? I know, talking off camera in our past 2 days of just knowing each other, that it's not a byproduct of happenstance or down your luck, but it's more so of a choice.
Right.
And why do you choose to live this lifestyle? And what is your reasoning behind it? And
Right.
where is it going to take you?
I think initially I was on a course of self-discovery, and through that process of journeying and discovering a spiritual side that I wanted to awaken to, I realized that the best way for me to connect and have an effect would be to be in the same camp with people that are living this way, because I think you can come in and you can have somewhat of an effect from an outside perspective and say, well, I have a degree in economics and sociology and all these things, but really truly learning how it's gonna, what's needed and what's necessary in connecting with people. You have to put up your own tent and sleep in it, sleep in your car. Go out. Go. I recommend everyone to do it. Something we talked about earlier was, I believe if you spend enough time in a situation, you get such a better understanding of what people are going through because you're experiencing it yourself.
Yeah.
And experiencing it yourself is definitely a necessity to. So, I'm not saying it's a lifestyle for everyone, because it's not. And for me, choosing to live this way has awakened in me a spirituality, sensibility of knowing that there's people out there that are desiring more than just living day to day in survival mode. They want a home, they want to be connected back to their family, they want to have all these things just like everyone else, but they've lost hope, and even some of them have even lost a desire to try to kind of make one more push at it or any of those things. So I believe that living this way and kind of being in that environment has helped me to understand what people are really going through. And, understand what they need, or even what they would want.
And how to help.
Yeah, and how to help.
And living this lifestyle too, it's really softened me as well. Living life on the road, because it comes with its challenges. It comes with its low times, its periods of not knowing what life has in store, where you're gonna sleep the next day, or where you're gonna shower, and what these little
the things we take for granted.
Exactly, the simple luxuries that most people have that they overlook, that someone in our position, sleeping on the streets or in our car, or just being free from society as a whole, I guess, or just more connected to the grassroots aspect of it. It's definitely opened me up to really look at people for more of what they are, or who they are, what they present themselves, and how I can connect and bridge that gap.
Exactly. Because I'm just going to use this as an example. Like, people say, well, what's one of the basic needs? Well, you need a laundry facility, you need showers. So even if a person gets a job,
keep going.
Even if a person gets a job, it's like, we're talking about a month before they even get income coming in. Well, where are they supposed to shower? Where are they supposed to keep clean from, keep their clothes clean so they can go to work every day? Where are they supposed to get? So a lot of people have soured themselves to even the idea of there's plenty of work out there or whatever, and but how am I going to keep a job if I can't even keep myself clean?
Yeah, it's a huge struggle. Even for myself, it's tough. It took me a while just to find a gym that had a shower that I could use.
Well, you're fortunate to have that.
Yeah, and I'm living this life. I don't take as much for granted now, and I'm really grateful for the little things that I get, like permission to sleep in the back of someone's parking lot of the restaurant that they own, and every little thing I'm so grateful for, because it doesn't have to happen, but it does, and it doesn't go unnoticed. That's for sure.
Amen. Good for you.
Because it's not easy. It really is hard when you're out here on your own and you don't really have much support or place to turn or nowhere to go. It's really tough to integrate when when there's you don't have the simple luxuries to get you there, right?
Right.
And I think that's kind of where it's part of the issue that also needs addressing, but there's so many
Right.
that it's hard to just like get it all in one go.
Right.
But part of this conversation is getting more insight to getting the ball turning to figure out how you and I and whoever else who's included can lend a hand, reach out, and see how you can support and give assistance or aid or even lending an ear or just learning about the person. You know, give them the time of day, not judging them for what they look like, but for who they are and how they present themselves and what their story is and what their battles are and what they've gone through. There's a lot you can learn. There's a lot that I learned for you for the past 2 days, and I'm super grateful for our friendship so far, because it's really imparted on me more wisdom and more empathy as to what other people are going through and how I can help with what little I have, but still give in the end.
Right. Just share what you have, you know, share a smile, share a word, share your meal.
Yeah.
Like we did last night. That was beautiful. Share, you know, just share the love that people are really looking for, the hope, the encouragement that they need in order to move forward. So what's happening in like the camps themselves is now these people are kind of coming together and banding together. There's still an element of issue with drugs and alcohol and crime.
Yeah.
But there's also kind of this, you know, this camaraderie that develops in these camps and things, that it's them versus the world.
Yeah.
It's us, you know, us against them, you know, and so the conversations that go on are about, you know, there's some really great ideas out there. What can we do to, you know, our part from our perspective and our part from our position?
Yeah.
How can we, you know, give people that don't see something from a, you know, from a place of where they are in a social structure to saying, you know, what can we do for them to see us more and want to help us? That's so we have to remember that's our part. You know, we can't just keep blaming, you know, them holding us back or not giving us what we need, because truthfully there's a lot of resources that are out there that will keep you sustained. It's not going to help you get out of that situation. You know, it's not going to move you forward because you're not allowing, you know, I go back to the accountability factor. You're not allowing yourself to really say, you know, what is my issue? You know, what kinds of things can I do personally to help even my own cause or the cause of the people that I'm with, or, you know, so
make an impact.
Right.
Even if it's just one person, you know.
Exactly. It starts with one person.
Yeah. And
love your neighbor.
And like we spoke about earlier, it also starts with yourself, right? If you can't help yourself, it's really hard to help someone else. Like that other lady this morning at McDonald's who's going through it.
Right.
You know, when you're in the thick of it, it's really hard to really remove yourself from your situation and then look at someone else's.
You know, for all of us to kind of come together and be like the unity of the body.
Yeah.
You know, like every part is important, right? So for all of us to do that, you know, we have to experience compassion.
Yeah.
You know, we have to consider others over ourselves in certain situations.
Yeah.
Really listen. You know, really hear what people are going through, the struggles, without it being, you know, the whole I'm using it as a way to like express so I can have you have pity on me. I want you not to just have pity for the situation I'm in, but I want you to be able to hear what I'm truly experiencing. It's kind of, you know, it's kind of like the, you know, the soup and the bread lines, and every one of those is needed. Yeah. I would say though, one thing I would say that in here on the coast, and I'm sure it's in a lot of different places that don't have like rescue missions or shelters or anything like that for people, there's a lack of food in the hot meal area, like, so there's not a lot of meal programs.
Yeah.
There's plenty of food, and if you got utensils and things to cook with and all that, that's one thing, you know. But I think that the reason why we need the meal programs is not just about the food, it's about the social thing. It's about the gathering of people over a meal and just talking about something,
Yeah.
you know, more than just, you know, a negative, yeah, something bad that happened in your day. That's all you got to share. That's one thing, and that's fine, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you know, you put 40 people in together at a table and we're all talking and sharing and everything. I mean, there's like a beautiful connection that happens from that, and it gives people hope, and it encourages people, and it strengthens, you know. And now you got people that are not, it's not just, oh, we're running around trying to survive, but, you know, we get to spend time in interaction with one another.
Yeah.
It's not over our phones, and it's not over texts and emails and phone calls. It's
true
face-to-face
yeah,
like we're having, you know, like we've been having the last couple of days, the eye contact and the connection and the spirit coming together.
I think there's huge power in providing meals, hot meals, bringing people together, having community, having the support group, having people that you can share your struggles and your successes in, that you can get some insight into or transfer some wisdom out to someone else to help them along their journey, because we're all in different stages and phases and pathways in our journey, but we might be years apart, but we have a lot in common, and there's a lot that I've learned from you that I'm really gonna like take home with me, and it's really gonna make me a better man and give me more insight into doing more and trying to become more in order to give back and to help with somehow figuring a way to fill the need of assisting and supporting people who are down or out that need food. And even for me, having a hot meal in the van is hard. I have all these resources, but it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of work to set up. You need to have refrigeration, you need to have the resources. Just having a kitchen and like a safe space for people to come together as a community with support, I think would be instrumental. I mean, there is soup kitchens, but I think it could evolve into something more to really give people community and hope and something more to live for than just what life is thrown at them and where it's taking them.
If you feel something about, maybe I could throw a few bologna sandwiches together, make some tomato soup, and just on my way, you know, to work or something, if I see somebody, I could stop and give them a meal and encourage them and say, hello, you know, you're not lost we still love you, we still care about.
You're still seen, you're not forgotten.
Exactly.
And I think the problem with homeless people is that they feel like they're forgotten. They feel like they're a lost cause. They feel like there's no hope. They feel like they're a menace to society, but they're just a byproduct of the happenstance or the unfortunate life events or choices that they've made that have brought them to where they are.
Sure.
And that can all be changed, you know.
Of course.
And that's just life. Things happen. We all go through it. But we need to be compassionate for everyone's story and the battles that they face, because we don't know what battles everyone's facing within. We can only get to know them, lend an ear, and then see where we can hopefully try to fill a need.
That's right.
And we don't have much, but one thing that I've learned is that like we have enough and we have more to give.
That's right.
So I wanted to ask you, what does giving and receiving mean to you?
Well, I believe that giving is a lifestyle. It's a choice, of course, but I think the more that you give, the easier it is to give. And as you experience the joy of blessing someone else and them receiving a blessing and then you receiving the blessing by giving it, without expectation of, you know, what's it going to be like? Where is it going? What's it doing? You know,
what's it in for me?
What's in it for me, right?
Yeah.
For sure. And receiving is, I think we should be open to always receiving no matter what it is, because I think, like I said, it's a twofold blessing no matter what's going to happen with it in the future. It's a part of saying, you know what, I'm I'm going to be humble enough and not let my pride, keep me from receiving something
Yeah.
or giving something. So whatever it is, just take it um, as a blessing. You know, um, share it with others. Share the things that people have shared with you. Shine your light. Be
Pass it on.
yeah, be an encouragement. Smile.
Yeah. We talked about this in previous conversations yesterday.
Okay.
Can you tell me about this is a good story. Take me back to the time where you had the car in, I forget where it was, but you ended up giving it away to someone
Right.
who needed it. Why did you do that? That was probably one of your last biggest possessions, right, at the time?
Sure.
Why did you decide to give away your car when that could have done a lot for you, like how this van does for me?
Not to like lengthen this long story, but I had, believed that God wanted me to go to Texas after Hurricane Ike, and then, it's like I wanted to be there. I wanted to, or not Hurricane Ike. Yeah, I guess it was. I can't remember one of those hurricanes. Anyway, so I went down there.
It's still a hurricane.
There's still a hurricane. Went down there and, just served. It's like, and then went to Florida, and then kind of was coming back towards the West Coast. Had a car, and I would say that I really loved my car. I loved
Me
it.
too.
I loved it. When I got to Oklahoma, I went to a church service, and there was a woman and her family that was like in desperate need of a vehicle, and all these people were talking about, what can they do, and I just knew that I was supposed to give my car to her, so I just basically signed it over to her and said, "Here, it's a blessing for you now," and yeah, there's an example of giving just because you see somebody need something that you have and they need it more than you do,
Yeah.
So you want to share that with people, and you want to, bless people with it and let them know that there's a reason for them, to be asking even for something, and getting an opportunity to receive it.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of neat because after that, it was like I went outside, and I had this little rollaway thing I was pulling, and all
Suitcase.
of a sudden, yeah, suitcase, and all of a sudden I'm going to this store, and I come out, and this guy's like, "Hey, you need a ride? I'm going to Oregon." So I was like, "Wow,
Yeah.
thank you for." So sometimes not everything is always instant as far as blessings that come back your way from blessing others, but there is sometimes where we receive something quicker than and in a way that we did not expect, and I think those things that are important to have in our life to encourage us, to give us faith, and increase our desire to serve one another, and in love.
To keep doing the good that the world needs or is in need of.
It's not just always about giving money.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's giving time. Sometimes it's giving food. And I think when we give out of the abundance of our heart, we have compassion for others. We see a need, and we say, well, I'm not saying everybody's called to give away their car or their house or any of those things, but I think that if you really listen, to what's going on, and you really see, a bigger picture, you're gonna know what it is that you can put into it.
I think if we band together, we can really do a lot, but it takes a group effort.
Sure does.
But it starts in the individual level, and that perpetuates outward. Like you giving the car, or you giving away your shoes, your tent, or you're the most generous guy that doesn't have much to begin with, but you still give and keep giving, and it's really nice to see. Man, it just inspires me to give more of what I have. I don't have much either, but I have more than enough to give. So why not give it, and why not bless someone else or help them along their journey, so that way they can get to where they need to go as well.
Sometimes that's what we're doing. We're not just, there's not like always this, big thing that we're hoping we're gonna see down the road later on. It's just, hey, here's an apple.
Yeah, yeah. Here's some beef jerky.
Exactly.
Some pasta.
That's right. Just get involved.
Yeah.
Get involved. Don't be one of these people that just goes to work 9 to 5, comes home, has dinner with and that's with the family, and that's all great. But I mean, if you do have some spare time, use it for helping build your neighborhood.
Yeah.
If there's a bunch of poor kids that are living in your neighborhood, buy a backpack and some school supplies if you can.
Yeah.
Or organize a community outreach program and start with your own neighborhood, start with your own neighbor, just kind of work your way out even, and so I would say do that as something to give yourself. Even encouraging yourself by doing it is going to help you be more and more bold and have more, zealousy for, like being a part of something that's, just greater than ourselves alone,
Yeah.
Breaking away from that, thinking that it's just me against the world and all these kind of things, because that's what keeps us from, getting, getting involved in what's going on in a community, if we don't think we have anything to offer.
Yeah.
We all have something to offer. Every single one of us can offer something. You don't have to go and live in a tent like me. You can, but you can go out and figure out what it is that, is your part, and what skills you have and what talents you have, and
sharing the gift with others.
Yes. So
yeah,
that's what I would encourage anyone to do. In these communities here on the coast, there are some things. There isn't really any like structured missions or those kind of things like there is in some of the bigger cities and communities, but
yeah,
it doesn't mean that we can't have something.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
You just have to meet. You just have to go out and say, you know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna create I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna have a plan, and I'm gonna start communicating with people, and I'm gonna meet people. I'm gonna, be positive and give them, something to look at and say, hey, if we can get 5 or 6 people to get this thing going, whatever it takes, then boom, then that's all you really need.
Yeah.
If you have vision, you won't perish.
Yeah. A vision can take you very far in life if you just know where you're going and have a destination. The journey is part of the process, and it's
Sure.
half of the fun. But without vision, just like sailing, if you don't know where you're headed, any wind will, no wind is favorable if you don't know where you're going.
That's right. So what about you? What have you learned like in your process of all of this? Like how, like you're seeing it firsthand now by living this way. So what are some of the things that you've noticed that would be something that you could share with your viewers about how, you can make an impact?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm still figuring it out as I go, but by being out here and by doing the hard things, getting comfortable with the uncomfortable, it's not easy to sleep on the streets or sleep in a van and having to find a new place to post up every night. But the real thing that I want to do with my vision is inspire others to take that leap of faith, get comfortable with the uncomfortable, and just see where it takes you and have faith that everything's going to be okay. I guess to answer your question, the one thing that I'm learning from this is just I'm very grateful for all the little things that I have and the excess that I am able to share too, what I'm able to give back.
I mean, I think it's easy to get connected to things that are in such a large perspective of it. Like you were talking about the fires in Maui and all that. I mean, people know what's going on there all over the world because of the connectivity of social media, of the news, of global reports and all that. And so you're like, oh man, those people really need our help.
Yeah.
But I think it's important for us to know that it's in the community. If you go by and you see somebody that needs something, but you don't know how to respond to it, or maybe there's fear involved or any of those things, I just encourage people to set that aside and
Yeah.
say if they feel the tug on the heart to do something,
Do it.
just do it.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and respond and watch and see what happens out of those interactions with people.
Yeah.
Some of these people, man, they just really need like someone to even just give them a hug,
Yeah.
a smile,
Or
encourage them,
a
whatever.
conversation.
Just a conversation. Yeah. Some
Yeah.
of them are talking to themselves. Of course, there's a lot of mental illness out there as well. So people are, the only person they have to talk to is themselves, and so they express themselves that way.
Yeah.
There's people that just need someone to notice them. Don't look the other way. Don't, because you might feel, I don't know what to do. I would just say,
how can I help?
Right. How can you help? And just listen to that still small voice that's on the inside. That's the spirit, and like be encouraging some way or another. Yeah. It's easy for us to be caught up in our own lives and not realize that it's not just our own lives. It's not just our immediate family. It's not just we're all one race, the human race, and there is no barriers. So it's like, let's just work together. And
we all bleed the same color.
Right.
We're all of the same origin.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I encourage people just to get involved. In the community, for sure. Start with something small. You say, well, I don't really have much to give myself or any of those things. I'm on a limited income. I got limited time. I got all these things that you're using those as a reason not to. Don't let that stop you from being kind and sharing love with people and encourage people and exhort and lift up and build up and edify. I'm not telling everybody you have to move a bunch of homeless people into your garage.
Yeah.
But if you do hear that and your garage is open, let somebody stay there.
Get to know them first.
Right.
Yeah,
of course.
But always we need more love in this world. We need more tenderness and
Sure.
and uplifting. In your perspective, what is the meaning of life? I think you kind of talked about it. You touched about it in a lot of ways, but how would you define the meaning of life? Like why we're here, the purpose of it all.
And I think the meaning of life would be for us to come together in a connectivity, fellowshipping, and saying, okay, so we're here together. We have roofs over our heads. We have all these things. So what can we do though to help other people who don't have that, and not just people from other countries, but people that are living under the bridge right down the street from us.
Yeah. Starts at home, right?
Yeah. And I think that we innately have that in us. Sometimes it just needs to be, I don't want to use the word woke in any of these conversations, but I would say awakened,
Yeah.
I think
brought forth.
Yeah. Caring more about helping each other and sharing with each other and loving and being a part of what God made us to be, which was in relationship with Him and with each other. And that's, how I would say the meaning of life would be. And personally, I have struggled in the area of connecting with people, like for any long term, because living the way that I do, it's not always easy to like make friends and have relationships. But
yeah,
I think if we're just open to it,
then
it brings something special, like what's been developing between you and I the last few days. And wow, I'm really like impressed with all of that. So,
and I'm very, very fortunate to be your friend and create this relationship, and couldn't be more grateful for it. I'm learning a lot, and it's just a pleasure to get to know you and to continue to get to know you. And to share our experiences with the world too, and gain and shed some insight into how other people's lives are, and how we can make the choice in our lives for the betterment of all, not just ourselves.
Exactly.
It's not just about us.
Oh, you said it better than I did, and you did it in like a minute. That took me like 10 minutes.
I'm finally getting warmed up. I'm getting less and less nervous.
Yeah, just treat it like it was just like we were just having coffee at McDonald's.
Yeah, we had great. Yeah, our conversations the other day. I wish we recorded it then, but it's okay. All we have is now, and for that I'm grateful. What is your purpose in life? You asked me my purpose the other day first, and this is part of my purpose, is to get to know people and gain new perspectives and share those perspectives so other people can learn. But what is your purpose?
I think God created me to be an advocate for the brokenhearted, the the poor in spirit, the ones that are struggling, the vagabonds of life,
The forgotten.
the forgotten. I believe that He gave me the skill and the desire to step into the gap in whatever is needed in that moment, in that time, in that day.
Yeah.
Today is the day of my salvation, so it's like today I'm not thinking about yesterday.
Yep.
I'm not worried about tomorrow. I'm focused on us having this conversation right now, and hoping that people will hear the conversation down the road and say, I'm getting inspired by people that are already inspired and moving in a direction. And so my purpose is to just one person at a time, one smile at a time, one meal at a time. Try to encourage people to experience something more than just their own daily life and the struggles and the things that come about in all of it.
Yeah.
To look at the brighter side of life and say, I have a purpose too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, opening up doors and windows that would like elevate people to like go, you know what, I have more to offer others than just me, living outdoors and having to deal with the struggles of life and trials and the tribulations that we go through in life, that we're overcomers, that we can
persevere in the face of adversity.
Endure,
persevere.
Yeah. So I'd say that would be the purpose that was given me.
Mm-hmm. And I think there's beauty in seeing the purpose in others and giving people new purpose too, because we all have our own life journey and our own struggles and battles that we face, and we don't really know how good we have it until it's gone, the saying goes. And I think part of the lesson that I'm learning is that I am living very minimally, similar to you, and it's making me appreciate so much more, but it's also making me way more connected with those around me and everyone else who's struggling or going through something similar.
Right.
That I'm not alone, they're not alone, and that together we can find power together and somehow just move forward.
And I think that in our culture, we've kind of thought that the more stuff we have, the more we have to give away. We think that that's, like something that is necessary. But what do you see? You see storage units all over the place where people keep their extra stuff.
Yeah.
Instead of putting it in a storage unit, find somebody who needs that chair, give it, and just share. I mean, because why do we have to try to sell it? Why do we have to, it's like, because we're trying to create more income so that we can give more away. Well, just if you create the lifestyle of giving and loving and sharing and all that, the easier it gets through the experiences that you have, you'll just watch more and more things happen, especially even in your local community or your town or your county. So I just say, hey, let's just realize that you start where you are, and you watch what happens when you just say, I'm not going to wait till I have something to give that I think I should give. I'm going to just give something that I already have. And, if somebody tells you to reach into something tells you to reach into your pantry and give that, can of food, don't give the dented one.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's the only one you got, yeah, but don't give the dented one. It didn't cost you anything because it's like you're already going to give that. Give something that's hard to give away.
Yeah.
Watch what happens when you give something that's hard for
Yeah.
you to let go of, because it's going to free you from possessing it. We're so possession orientated,
Attached
culture.
to it.
Yeah, we get attached to all that stuff. Yeah, but see, I look at it like this: none of it is really ours. My perspective is it's all God's, and we're just stewards of it.
Yeah.
So we're ambassadors for Him, and we say we're just going to give it because it's really His anyway.
Yeah.
I know it's hard because we say, well, I worked hard for this. I did, and we justify it, and we put all kinds of stipulations on it, and then we say, well, I can't really give that away because I worked so hard to get that, or I did.
That's all I have.
That's all I have. Yeah. So there's an oppression in that mentality as well, like we discussed before. I would like to encourage people that have experienced like oppression, like the poor way of thinking. Everything we got to hold on to every little thing we got because if we don't, then we're not gonna have it.
Yeah.
The more you give, the more things come into your life to give away.
Yeah, but that's not the reason why you give. You don't give to get. You give because it comes from the heart. You're not looking for the expectation to receive.
Right. I think just the natural way that it was put in order was though that because if you give from the heart, there's opportunity for you to give even more.
Yeah, yeah.
And you will.
Yeah. Especially when you give, you come from a place of abundance. If you come from a place of lack, like I don't have enough, you'll never have enough.
That's right.
So if you have enough or just enough to share, or you think of it in the terms of abundance, and you give away what you have, somehow, some way, it'll all come back and still be provided for you in some shape or form.
That's right. That's the purpose.
That's the purpose.
There's a pastor in California, Rick Warren, who wrote a really great book called Purpose Driven Life.
Yeah?
Yeah. If there's anybody out there that would like to discover what it is to even look at what my purpose would be, that would be a really great book to read. I believe that.
Life is about purpose.
Exactly.
And driving it to completion,
right.
to the end of the road as far as you can.
That's right.
With as many people as possible.
That's right.
And just doing
Let's see what
as best as you can, yeah.
Yeah, see what happens. It's a blessing.
Is there anything that keeps you up at night? Nope.
I sleep pretty good.
That's good. That's good. There is a lot that keeps me up. That's why I was curious if you had any worries or. Yeah.
I don't worry about nothing.
That's good.
I think I have to be honest and say that there are things that that I think about that aren't necessarily lined up with my purpose.
Yeah.
So but I think for the most part, no, I don't.
That's good.
I know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I've been around long enough for the experience of life to say I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
And where I'm at is exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Exactly. Yeah. Because no matter where you go or however far you run, you're always going to be there. There's no running away from yourself.
Right. So there's people out there that think that if they move people from one location to another, that it's, we think it's going to make our situation better. The only problem with that emptying out this community and moving it somewhere else so we don't have to deal with it is somebody else is coming in and moving into that empty space. So people are now relocating from the major cities and all that and coming to places where it's we just want to get out of even some of that thinking and that whole
the hustle and bustle.
Yeah, and people pushing them away anyway. I want to go somewhere where I'm wanted. I want to go somewhere where I can contribute. I want to go, and so it's instead of figuring out a way to relocate them from when they come in to somewhere else.
Yeah.
Welcome them.
Yeah.
Let them contribute. Let them be a part of what you're building.
Yeah.
in your community. Let them feel what it's like for them to experience their purpose.
Yeah. Which is part of the meaning of life, right?
Right. There you go. Meaning of life stuff. I was struggling with that question a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
what's the meaning of life? Well,
Serve, give back.
yes. Always serve. Yeah.
There's beauty in serving,
Yes.
and making things go far beyond yourself, but for the others. And it's really rewarding to be able to connect the dots and to give back, or to just like not make it about so much about yourself, but about others. Because in doing so, it actually like uplifts you as well. It's kind of rewarding to lend a hand to a fellow person in need, because we all need it. We all need the
Of course.
support. We all,
We all need love.
yeah, we need love, and I think it's a missing attribute. Shoe fly. I think it's a missing attribute in today's day, because we're so
Right.
divided, and it's like there's no need for that. We can all get along easily, just fine, in harmony. We just have to have dialogue and get to know one another and respect each other's opinions,
Right.
but not fight over it and argue.
Exactly.
There's no benefit in that. It gets us nowhere. What we need to do is find a common ground
Right.
and then find a solution.
Amen.
But that's only going to happen if we come together.
It doesn't mean that we have to disconnect, and it doesn't mean we have to have division.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that's in line with my purpose is for me to come into contact with leaders in different organizations and community outreach programs and say, let's stop focusing on the things that divide us
Yeah.
and start coming together on the things that we can agree upon.
Yeah.
And we can all agree upon, especially people who are advocates and and are part of organizations that help people.
Yeah.
We can all agree upon we need to help people,
Yeah.
and let's just do that. Let's focus on that instead of the differences. Let's focus on that instead of your opinion's more important than mine, or your idea is better than mine, or none of that stuff matters. Just
Yeah.
find a place and plug in.
Yeah.
There's power in plugging in.
Yeah.
Just connect. Believe me, there's plenty of things out there that you can be involved in. Whatever
Yeah.
you're passionate about, just
Yeah.
say, you know what, I'd like to see something like that happen, so let's do that.
And you never really know until you ask, until you say hello and ask someone and genuinely ask someone how they're doing and if you can help, in whatever little way possible.
Right.
I think there's really beauty behind getting to know someone and actually taking the time to do that, because great things can come of it, like our new friendship.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, we could just say, well, just something simple like, the differences, were there, and the natural viewpoint of it, and you can say, well, what would I have in common with a guy, 30-year-old guy, when I'm 50 years old? I mean, the little things like, okay, I'm not, maybe I can't see their commonality, or what the blessing of it would be from a point of view of sitting next to somebody in a McDonald's, and there's a separate thing going on, each of us living our lives, at that moment, but deciding that, we say hi, start up a conversation, realize that, wow, we have more in common than I thought we did.
Yeah.
I was totally shocked by that.
yeah, me too.
So yeah, we can't just look at someone and say, okay, all these differences.
Yeah,
or
they
whatever,
appear
and say,
homeless, or they're going through this or that, or they're going through a bad day, in which they might. We all do. But having like the compassion and the grace to actually see them for what they are and what they're
Right.
going through,
Yeah.
and then just being there for them or lending
Exactly.
a hand, having this supporting them. I think that goes a long way,
Right.
and that doesn't require money at all.
Connect to people. Even if they're like rough around, it could be like, not everyone is going to be receptive to everything we do, of course, the way that we expect it to be. But
Yeah.
I think what it is just, I just encourage people to just continue to just keep doing it, because then it becomes easier and easier in the process of the experiences that you have.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to put everything in a good box or a bad box. It can just be
What it
I'm
is.
I'm gonna say hi. I'm gonna do whatever, and just
See where-
realize that those doors and windows are being opened for such a time as this, and we can say, hey, there's something out of it. It may not even always be for us to bless somebody. Maybe it's for them to bless us.
Yeah.
And everybody gets blessed anyway. So
Yeah.
because we've made somebody's day. I mean, I've had so many encounters in my walk,
Yeah.
in my lifestyle, that I thought it was going to be a certain way.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go into the phone booth and put on my cape and I'm flying out and change somebody's life.
Yeah.
And that's all of it. Somebody comes up to me and says, hey, here's what it really is. And all of a sudden I'm thinking, wow, that was for me to listen to that person and receive something they had to share. So
Yeah.
I think that's the wonderful thing about serving, is it's not exactly a designed plan every single time in the same way.
But you never know where it's gonna take you if you don't make that connection, or
That's
if you don't make that if you don't say hello.
Right.
Simple as that. It just takes, sometimes it's hard. And me being a natural introvert, it's been a long road to get to talking to random strangers that I just meet in new places that I'm just wandering around at.
Yeah.
But throughout the journey, it's really built me and built my character into really being able to resonate more with people, make those connections, and just making new connections and friendships along the way.
Sure.
And for that, I'm grateful, because
Right.
in the doing of the hard, it's made me softer and better, and it's been able to help me serve and give more to others in need,
Right.
or receive, because I've learned a lot too. I've received a lot from you, and I'm forever grateful for that.
Right.
All right, second to the last question.
Okay.
These I kind of memorized.
That's good.
I have to ask, if money were no object, what would you do?
I think what I would do is, if money were no object, I think what I would do is allow kind of people to have access to being able to, start their own businesses like America used to be, where we were like built upon small business, not corporate juggernauts controlling everybody on the bottom end. We said, well, we
Yeah.
took away the monopoly in America, but really they're still controlling everything.
Yeah.
I would really like to bless people with being able to meet needs at every single turn.
Yeah.
Like if somebody really needed something, boom, I got it.
Yeah.
You can do it. Here's a blessing for that. Here's an opportunity for you to fulfill your dream, fulfill your vision, fulfill, something God has put in your heart to do.
Yep.
I mean, and I know that money can be something that can be a catalyst for some of those things. But I don't think I would want it to be just where it was always about giving away money. I'd still want to give away my time. I'd still want to give away my heart. I'd still want to share the experiences I'm having and listen to what other people are going through, and not just throw money at it. But I really would like to see people have hope. I'd really like for people to share love.
Yeah.
I really like for people to experience faith.
Yeah.
Beyond what the world has to give.
Yeah.
Be more connected to, that spiritual journey, because that's like one of the things I really love about you, is that you're like seeking that. And I'm like, I like that. I remember when I was doing that. And I'm not saying that I've, totally got all of it. I'm just saying that through the journey, you realize what is needed out there more than, just something physical.
Yeah.
There's a deeper connection in, even sharing a meal, or, than just sharing the meal.
Yeah. The human element, the connection of it, the coming together.
Right.
The caring, the love, the support, everything we talked about essentially.
Right.
And I think there's more than just giving money.
Right.
There's essence to it. There's being there and being present, it has.
Now you're always going to get people that
Yeah.
they know you have an endless supply. They're going to come for them.
Yeah.
They're going to come for the cash.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But I think giving more than just the money. What I would do is I would set up a situation where you could even go in and help people fulfill their dream beyond just putting the money into it, because you don't want to just see people fail, even just because you got enough money to start a business, but it may just die because you don't even know how for that to be structured or any of those things. We want to provide more than just the cash itself. You want to
teach them how to fish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not just give them the boat.
Yeah.
And a bunch of poles.
It's been a great conversation so far. And in closing, I just wanted to ask, is there anything that you want to share that we haven't already covered?
If I don't share this, then later on down the road, I might be going, I should have done that. So I will share that. Look for people to really open up their hearts and minds and spirits to all of it, seek, God and things first.
Mm-hmm.
First seek ye the I'm sorry, I'm going to throw a scripture out here.
That's
First
okay.
seek ye the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, and then all these things get added unto you. So I think if you just continue to go on the spiritual journey, pray.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're going to react, to things.
Yeah.
But I would say that if you allow the Spirit to kind of dictate where you're going, you'll be surprised as things happen. You'll respond.
Yeah.
As opposed to reacting all the time. So.
Mm-hmm. And when you're grateful for those moments, more of those moments happen for you, not just to you. And that's one of the aspects that I've been learning in my journey, is that things are just happening for me now, just because of the energy that I bring and what I'm able to give and what life is able to bestow upon me in return. And it's a nice feedback loop when you really get to understand it and really connect with whatever is higher above, whatever you believe in. But there's definitely something out there looking out for us and that has our backs that we can't really comprehend. But we have lots of stories that we've talked about where it was close calls and somehow, some way, we made it out.
Right. I believe that, that continuing, in the journey, in the spiritual walk, that, there's still purpose and things for us to fulfill.
Yeah.
And there's been times where we have been spared from our own poor decision making and still alive, and however that all works out, because there's still things on this earth that need to be done.
Yeah.
And the truth is, we're the hands and feet of God.
Yeah.
We're an extension of him and that spirit. So just walk in that and just, live it out, and don't allow, what you see all the time to, change the way your perspective is as far as fear and all these things, because God doesn't give us the spirit of fear. He gives us a spirit of power and of love and of sound mind.
Yeah. And when you tap into that,
yes,
the possibilities are endless.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah.
Endless possibilities.
I just really want to thank you, Craig, for being here today. It's a pleasure getting to know you.
Yes.
It's been quite the journey, and I really look forward to how our relationship and our friendship unfolds as we move forward. I also thank everyone here who's watched up until this point. Thank you for your support. I don't know where this is going, but I'm gonna try to figure out a way to create a system or ways to support people in need and just giving back and just finding a way to make a program to address some of these issues that we talked about today. So if you're looking to support, I'm gonna drop some links in the description. And until next time, thank you for tuning in, and thank you, Craig, for being here.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, sir.